Wednesday, chemists. So today is April 29th, Wednesday, April 29th. So let's get started. We're going to continue working on our QPAs for Unit 5. So as always, here's my contact information. Please call, email, text, comment on this video, comment on Google Classroom if you have any questions. Today's objective is I can describe and analyze a gas loss phenomenon by doing research on the topic and thoroughly connecting my topic to chemistry. So this is the most important part of your guys' QPA, and that should make sense. This is a chemistry class. I want to make sure you're understanding the chemistry, not that you're just able to tell me background information on how scuba equipment works. So make sure we're thoroughly connecting the topic to the chemistry that we've been discussing, so the different gas laws that we've been discussing specifically, and how different variables, if one goes up, so if we increase pressure, what's going to happen to volume, what's going to happen to the amount of gas, temperature, etc., and then vice versa. So if we change one variable, how's that going to affect the others? So here's just a little checklist for you today. So by now we should have chosen a topic for our final QPA, so chosen a topic to talk about the gas laws with, begun research on the topic, begun our presentation, and then written the background information. So on Monday, we went over what background information should look like. And what we're doing today is we're researching applicable gas laws to my topic, and then find additional articles you want to use. So based on the gas laws, or if you have any more articles that you want to use that you really think should be added into your project. So pause me now if you need to get a pencil and paper to write this down. So if you are typing it on your laptop, make sure you have another tab open to write this down, jot this down with. You also are going to have access to this PowerPoint on Google Classroom. But if you need a pencil and paper, or you need a second to open up another tab to write this down in Google Docs, pause me now to do that. Okay, welcome back. So just gas law, we're going to quickly go over what gas law information you should be including. So we went over this last time a little bit, but we're going to go over it a little more. So just some jumping off points. So what gas laws apply to your topic? How is this gas law relevant to your topic? So how did scientists, chemists, physicists, how did they use this gas law to make this phenomenon work? So if it's a hot air balloon or scuba equipment, if it's airplane cabin pressure, how did they manipulate these variables, or how did they just use these variables and how they affect each other to make this phenomenon work? And then what would happen if you change one variable? So for example, if you increase pressure, how would this affect the rest of the variables in your topic? So if you increase pressure, how's that going to affect volume? If you increase temperature, how's that going to affect pressure? You can make and switch with all the variables. So just make sure you're including these three things essential to your project. A little gas laws review. So pause me now here. We went over this a couple weeks ago, just the different gas laws that you should be familiar with by now, and that you can be connecting your topic back to. So here we have the gas law name, we have the equation, and then it tells you what the different letters here stand for. So P is pressure, V volume, T temperature, N down here is the amount of moles, and then this R is a constant. And then it also tells you the relationship. If there's only two variables present, it tells you the relationship. So pressure and volume have an indirect relationship, meaning as pressure goes up, volume needs to go down to keep this other side constant. So they're always going to have this constant ratio with each other. And to do that, if we increase pressure, volume needs to go down. Volume and temperature have a direct relationship, meaning as volume goes up, temperature also necessarily has to go up, as long as we're keeping everything else constant. And then same thing for pressure and temperature. And then these two, we can't really describe their relationship because there's more than one variable in each. So pause this if you need it to write it down, rewind it as needed. Additionally, some working knowledge that you should be having. So some jumping off points. So how does your topic relate to the gas laws and the relationships between the variables? What about the topic tells you what gas laws is applied? So make sure you're writing that down. So you need to be able to thoroughly explain your rationale. So what about this topic tells you that gas laws is being applied? What about hot air balloons tells you that you need to be using a specific gas law? And then how could this topic or gas law relate to your own life? So this is really your own working knowledge. So you're using your knowledge in your head to create basically theories that you need to be able to back up, so scientifically back up. And then also, I just want to point out our grading information. So if you ever are confused, there's a rubric on your guys's mini QPA on the very last page, I believe. There's a rubric, the very last 2 pages. And you are going to be focusing on, you want the 10 out of 10, so you want to focus on the far left column. So if you don't think that you've reached the criteria for what I've highlighted here, so for gas law information and working knowledge, then you need to keep trying to achieve this. So this should be your guide. So student thoroughly explained how the gas laws are relevant to the application they chose. All information is correct and complete. So I need complete sentences. I need relevant gas laws. I need you to be correct with that. Working knowledge, so you thoroughly are explaining how this application works, the way it does, and the related this back to the relevant gas laws. You gave examples how this application could relate to their own life. So focus really on these 2. If in doubt, make sure if you think that you have all these done, then perfect, you're all set. But make sure that you're really focusing on these left columns. And I can show you where that is on your final QPA. So if we go down to page 3 and 4, we have some helpful hints. It goes over the competency that we're working on, and then it gives you the grading information. So I just showed you for the gas law and working knowledge, but there's also for the background information, visual aid, resources. Next time we're going to go over how to cite your resources properly. Okay, so this week at a glance. So we have Monday, Wednesday, all taken care of. Tomorrow, Thursday, April 30th, the last day of April, we're going to have a Google Hangout and our normal Google Hangout link. I'll post that in Google Classroom at 11:30, so it's 11:30 to 12:30. And then Friday, we're going to go over how to cite my sources. Make sure you guys are emailing your information, anything that you need. I'm always here for you. See you guys next time.